All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready because, well, if you're not ready, I don't know what to tell you. Get ready. How about that?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Get ready. Who was that?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Oh, whew, that was SpongeBob. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking Butters.
Butters. Oh, yeah.
Butterscotch.
Butterscotch.
Butterscotch. And some of our audience is like, what? You got to listen louder. Sometimes you have to listen louder. You're not going to get it every single time. You know, and that's part of the fun.
That's what she said.
That's part of the fun. Phrasing, Joel. Oh, you know the season 5, the complete season 5 is available on Netflix now of Archer.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, and
good, because I want to watch it.
While I was having my flu, I sat in the chair and I binged watched Netflix. I basically binged watched the entire season 5 of Archer twice. And he said something, and he looks at him, and he said, "Are we really not doing phrasing anymore?" Mm-hmm. And throughout the season, he's like, "I can't believe that we're not still doing phrasing." Speaking of Netflix, and no, they don't advertise with us, but they really should. Do you know what is? Oh, we haven't talked about this off air, so I'm just going to drop this right in your lap right now. Do you know what they just released on Netflix here this weekend, or last weekend? God's Not Dead.
Oh, did you watch it?
Yeah.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched it in theaters.
I know you.
Well, how come I didn't get a text message?
I did. I sent you a text message. If you check your text messages.
You sent me a text that said God's not dead?
No, I sent you a text message that I sent you Matthew 10:32.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
Did you put it together?
Yeah, but...
See, my text messages you actually have to think about. They're like parables.
But that's not what you didn't follow the rules.
Really?
You didn't conform.
Look at me.
You should have conformed.
I should have conformed. I should have done what I was told.
You know what's funny is, those of you that haven't seen the movie, at the end of the movie it tells you, did it do that on the DVD to text? Mm-hmm. Did it say text God's not dead?
Yeah, it was Netflix. It wasn't a DVD.
Or whatever. And into the movie.
Yeah.
You know, digital DVD. Digital video download. There we go. DVD. Bam.
Shut up.
So anyway, at the end of the movie it tells you to text all your friends the sentence God's not dead. And before I'd watched the movie, apparently a lot of my friends went and saw that because I got that text message several times and I was like, what's going on? He's trying to talk to me and I don't understand.
Wow, that was really cool that your friends did that.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't get that at all. Apparently I don't have friends. Well, I'm sorry. But
no, you have friends that still think you have to be a coward to be a Christian.
Yeah, that is true. I have,
which is why you're writing all these books. So.
Yeah, I know. But I wanted to bring that up because not only, and I was really surprised. I mean, you told me the basic premise of the movie, and so when I watched it, I was like, okay, I remember Jared.
Yeah, it was
saying
actually
this.
organized by students that had actually had that happen to them.
Yeah, and how many cases? Like 10, 15, 20 cases across the nation. Oh, well. There was actually a lot of surprises in the movie. There was things that I didn't see coming. I mean, I knew the basic premise and the central theme, but then the subplots, I was actually surprised by it, and I was actually surprised by the ending. And I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who didn't see it. But you think you're going to get one kind of a Hollywood ending, but you don't. You think, oh, I know how this is going to end. This is going to be the typical Hollywood feel-good kind of ending. And they kind of turn it around on you. But anyway, and that's the kind of world that we live in right now, Jared. You have a movie comes out in the theaters, and people talk about it, and it's topical then, and it kind of goes away, and then it gets a second breath of life when it comes on Netflix. And I think that's what we're going to see right now.
Yeah,
is people who your mother did not know that movie even existed.
Really, I told her about it. She must have been sleeping.
Yeah, she's women.
Or may know it wasn't that one. It was the other one.
You're sure you did?
On My Way to Heaven or something. Where the little kid.
I don't know.
He went to heaven in his dream, or I don't remember. I didn't see that movie though.
Oh, yeah, because your mom said. I said, "How do you not know about this, honey? Your sons both went to the movie theater and saw it, and they told me about it." She's like, "I don't know," but in addition to that, because I watched that movie. And after it was over, I did what every other geek does. I got on my phone and I Googled Newsboys because I didn't know there was a band called the Newsboys. The band that's in the movie, they're a
real band?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what Zach said. He goes, I thought they just made them up for the movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
No, they are an actual real band. And they actually did a God's Not Dead tour. But I went to their website, and they've got an ad for Do You Believe? And it says, watch trailer now. And I'm like, okay, click. And I watched trailer now, and it said available 3/20/15. So it's not a sequel, but it's like a follow-on movie. It's based on the same theme, based upon faith and belief and so forth. And anyway, so that's actually out in theaters right now, and I haven't seen it yet. I was thinking of taking Zach on Tuesday.
What's it called?
It's called Do You Believe?
Do You Believe?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I looked at the movie list last night, and
well, it came out on Friday.
Well,
it said 3/20.
Oh.
Well, and
maybe
so,
I just didn't look good enough.
Or yeah. So anyway, long story short, today is Tuesday. Yeah, today's bargain matinee day at our local movie theater.
Yeah, you know what a bargain for a movie is nowadays? It's $5.50. $5.50 is now a bargain for a movie, which is kind of ridiculous. But if you want to buy a bottle of water, did I tell you how much the freaking bottles of water there are? $4.
$4
for a bottle of water.
For a 30-cent bottle of Nestle
Actually,
water.
you know what? I calculated it out. If you get a pack from Sam's, it's like 17 cents a bottle.
Wow.
So yeah.
$4.
I got the bottles of water and I paid for the stuff, and I looked at the receipt after, which was a mistake. And I looked at it and it said $4. I looked at the lady. I said, "Does this come with lube?" And she just kind of laughed. I was like, "Whatever." I'm serious. Does it? Because that hurt.
Yeah, that's what they're like. Oh, you want to be Mr. Healthy? You don't want to buy soda? Okay, you can buy water for $4 a bottle.
Yeah, or
they weren't even
sodas are like
they weren't even charging $4 for water after Katrina.
Yeah, but the water bottles at the movie theater are thick and they're sturdy.
Oh,
and they have a label on it that says the Grand.
Is it Dasani?
No.
Is it just generic water? Like
it's the
generic,
Grand. It's their brand water.
Which means that they actually filled it up in the back.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right. So with all that out of the way, and you're like, whew, man, they were vamping. We're not really vamping. We're just talking. What are you doing? Are you on the treadmill? You're like, dude, I'm not on the treadmill. I'm on the elliptical. Are you on the elliptical toning your buns? Dude, I can't do the elliptical. I mean, I can.
You have no buns?
I'm physically capable of doing the elliptical machine, but the whole time I'm on it, I think, how do women do this?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I want to get off this thing right now.
Yeah.
Raviolis and a nap.
It's actually better for your joints than treadmills.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
what do I know?
All right. But here's what I know. I know that this episode of Student of the Gun is brought to you by Brownells at Brownells.com. If you own a gun, Brownells.com has something for you. Parts, service, selection, whatever. Cool thing about Brownells is, check this out. Let's say you have a gun. And let's say you're like lots of people that have decided, I'm going to disassemble and clean this gun. And then
you should probably read the manual first.
Then you have a bunch of gun parts on your table, and you can't figure out why they won't all go back together. I know this never happens to anyone except that one guy. Well, if you happen to be that one guy, you want to know what's cool about Brownells? Those turkeys have an 800 number, and you can actually call them, especially if you buy a part or a component. Let's say you bought X. Oh, I've got a XYZ, and I bought a new part for it from Brownells.com. And I thought I could sit down at my workbench, and install it. And I got everything taken apart, and I realized that's not happening. So here's what you do. You call Brownells, and you say, hey, I bought this trigger, this spring, this part, this disconnector, this whatever. And now I'm sitting at my kitchen table, and I've got a big pile of gun parts in front of me. Help. And you know what those turkeys have? They have real, genuine, real-life gunsmiths that are there. And they hand the phone, they're like, hey, Bob. pick up line 1. And they're like, okay, take a deep breath. We're going to work through this. They're good people. Jared and I have been, Jared more recently, but we've known the folks at Brownells for a long time. They're good people, so check them out at brownells.com. And speaking of putting stuff into your guns, if you can figure out how to disassemble a rifle, you can put a velocity trigger into your black rifle. They actually even have a how-to video, a YouTube video that's super simple. Just take a deep breath, and you can install a velocity trigger in your black rifle at your own bench, at your workbench, on your kitchen table, and it'll take you, if you're slow and cautious, maybe 15 minutes. If you follow directions, What I would do is I would watch the how-to video first before I even touched anything, and then rewatch it as you're doing it. So if you have a black rifle and you're like, I'd like to, do precision shooting, hunting, competition, whatever. I really want to do some precision marksmanship, some long-range marksmanship, what have you, with this black rifle, and I want to put a different trigger in it. Velocity Triggers has one for you. And the cool thing is, if you compare competition, match grade, drop-in triggers, if you compare velocity to a lot of others, you're going to come out better with a velocity trigger. So check those guys out at velocitytriggers.com, and make sure that whether it's Brownells or Velocity Triggers, if you find yourself on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, give them a like, give them a thumbs up, give them a tweet. I don't care. Do whatever you got to do. All right, Jared, you want to move into the meat of this one right now?
Yeah, let me move into the meat. But before that, we just had somebody write into the phone number. You can actually text the number that I gave you guys for the good guy as well. Yeah, you can text or call it. Either way, it'll get to me, but I'd rather have the voice to play on the radio for the good guy questions. And it was actually David. He's the pastor. He threw out a term to me, and it was actually really cool. I've never heard this term before, and it's a cool term. He said, if you ever need help with spiritual fitness, let me know. I like that.
Spiritual fitness. I like that.
Yeah. David, thank you for that term. If you don't mind, I'm going to use that.
Dude, how did he know that we were on the radio talking about God's not dead and do you believe stuff? How did that?
I don't know. There we go.
You know how.
Yep.
I know
that is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, is that our Sermon on War guy?
No.
That's a different one.
This is different. He's a Lutheran pastor.
Oh, is that the one that...
He asked if one of us were still Lutheran.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. And our Sermon on War guy?
Stuart.
Stuart
Palmer, I believe. No,
it's a different Stuart.
Forgive me, but his first name's Stuart, I know.
Okay, well, we need to get him an advanced copy of Faith in the Patriot.
Yes, we do.
So make a note of that. All right, listen up, hippies. Well,
what am I doing?
I'm just going to be quiet, and I'm going to let Jared bump me in, then we're going to talk.
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see it's never shown.
You know what that is. That's Puddle of Mud and Control, and that is our slave state update theme. And this is kind of a combination slave state, slave nation update right here. Because the turd in question here, the primary suspect is from a slave state. That would be the People's Republic of New York. And what if we told you? Now, why is the slave state update theme, why is it Puddle of Mud's Control? Because it's all about control. It's not about safety. It's not about children's safety. It's not about police safety. No, it is about control. It's about who gets to have the guns. Because let's face it, they never come out and say, well, here's a new bill, and because these guns are so dangerous and so awful and so terrible, and these inanimate objects make you want to commit homicide. So we're gonna eliminate them from the face of the earth. No, they never do that. They say these guns are so bad that you peasants can't be allowed to have them. And then you peasants out there raise your hand and you go, but if they're so bad, how come you still get to have them? Because we're the state. And the state can be trusted, but you peasants cannot be trusted. So sit down, get back out in the field. Well, This story, it's been around, but it just came to us recently from nra.ila.org. That's the Institute for Legislative Action. And-
NRAILA.org.
Yeah,
There's no dot.
NRAILA or dash. I'm
There's
sorry.
no dash either.
Well, on the main page it says dash.
That's a header. That's not the URL.
You're a header.
Please forgive his technological retardation.
It's like they weren't typing dashes in. They're listening. Be quiet. All right, March 13th, 2015, 3 days after the BATFE MOUSE, quote, rescinded its proposed ammo ban framework regulations, anti-gun U.S. Representative Elliot Engel, Democrat, People's Republic of New York. Surprise!
He's not really a U.S. representative.
No, he's a representative for the Communist Republic
He's
of
a
New York.
UN representative.
He's
How about that?
Exactly. UN representative. Introduce, I like that. From now on, all the communists, we're just going to introduce them as UN representatives. Introduced H.R. 1358, a bill designed to ban civilian use and possession of M855 ammunition. Now, hang on a second. What? What am I hearing here? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let's go on. So this is the same round that the ATF, after meeting fierce bipartisan opposition on Capitol Hill and from NRA members, decided to rescind banning. Well, what have we been telling you, sweet Buddha, on a freaking rubber raft? What have I been telling you? What did we learn from the Sega? Just 2 years ago. They floated the thing about the Sega shotguns not having, quote, legitimate sporting purpose use. And we're thinking about banning these. What do you guys think? We're going to do a memorandum. We're going to poll people to see whether or not we should ban these. And then they got a bunch of pushback, and they're like, ooh, all right, well, we're not going to be able to go that route because people are paying attention and they're angry over there. So what we're going to do, oh, crap, there's a crisis in the Ukraine. Ban all imports from Russia. Bingo. We wanted to do it, but we were just trying to figure out the right way to how can we ram this down the people's throats? How can we push this through and they're not being able to say anything about it? So the ATF decides, we're just going to go ahead and do this here, and they got caught. Well, it wasn't that they didn't think they would get caught. They were testing the waters.
Whoa.
Folks, if you don't ever think that they float this stuff out there to see whether or not they're going to be able to get away with it, to see whether or not you're paying attention or how many of you are paying attention, because let's face it, if only a few people voice anger, they'll be like, whatever, shut up, peasant. We're not listening to you. What happened was you got mad enough that you actually called your congressmen and your senators and you yelled at them, and they're like, what are these peasants angry about now? And so they're like, oh, hey, knucklehead, what are you doing over there? My people are calling me and they're angry. Oh, well, we were just going to go ahead and backdoor the Second Amendment here by making a certain ammo illegal. Yeah, but we already...
It says here, okay, I'm looking at H.R. 1358 from 114th Congress, first session. It says, to enact into law a framework for deciding, this is what they're enacting, a framework for deciding whether certain projectiles are primarily intended for sporting purposes, for purposes of determining whether the projectiles are armor-piercing ammunition. So their whole basis here is primarily intended for sporting purposes.
Hey, Jared, have you ever read this pesky little thing called the U.S. Constitution?
Yes, I have.
Hey, did you ever read the Bill of Rights?
Yes, I did.
Do the words legitimate sporting purpose appear anywhere in there?
Nope.
You know where that horse crap got adopted? The 1986, what is it called? The Omnibus Crime Control and Law Enforcement Safety Act or whatever. Yeah, when they foisted yet another gun control act on us, and because we were stupid, we went ahead and accepted it because it was for safety. It's for safety, right? Remember that. Everything is for safety. Can I break your hearts right now? And I know a lot of you, this is going to be obvious to you. When they say body armor, if they're talking about soft body armor, like flexible Kevlar panels, or and it's not all made out of Kevlar. There's lots and lots of material that they use to make soft body armor. Kevlar is the most popular one, but if any of you cop people out there or no cops or whatever, soft body armor is made by lots of different companies. You got Safariland. Well, okay. Anyway, soft body armor is designed to stop low-velocity projectiles from handguns, shotgun pellets, and things of that nature.
Dude.
Soft body armor is not designed to stop high-velocity ammunition. A high-velocity rifle round, such as a .223, 5.56, 243, 30-06, 308, 22, 250, you name it, 270, go on and on and on and on. Soft body armor is not designed to stop that. It won't stop any of it. Not just M855, your generic off-the-shelf 223 ball ammo will go zip right through it. So if they wanted to say, well, we need any rifle ammunition that can penetrate police officer soft body armor needs to be, banned, or if it can be put in a handgun, it has to be banned.
Dude.
That would be all of it.
Okay, there's a bunch of sub-clauses here, but this one, I'm just going to read. Can I just read the whole thing?
Go crazy.
Okay, it says, Section 921A17 of Title 18 United States Code, amended by adding the following, for purposes of subparagraph C, a .22 caliber projectile that otherwise would be armor-piercing ammunition shall be considered to be primarily intended to be used for sporting, man, I'm having trouble saying that word, sporting purposes, if the projectile weighs 40 grains or less and is loaded into a rimfire cartridge. And it goes on to say, except as provided in Clause 1, which is what I just read, a projectile that otherwise would be armor-piercing ammunition shall, for purpose of subparagraph C, be considered the primarily intended to be used for sporting purposes if the projectile is loaded into a cartridge for which the only handgun that is readily available in the ordinary channels of commercial trade is a single-shot handgun, subject to subclause 2. Now listen to this. In subclause AA, which is what I just read, the term single-shot handgun means a break-open or bolt-action handgun that can only accept a single cartridge manually, and does not accept or use a magazine or other ammunition feeding device, but does not include a pocket pistol or Derringer-type firearm. Now,
so that'd be the 22 LR clause and the Thompson Center contender clause.
Yeah.
So BFD. So this is what they did.
They're starting with.
No, what they did is they just put those in there because they want the reasonable gun owners. They want the reasonable gun owners to back off. They want the people. They want the. All right. Who was it that said they came for the Jews? It wasn't Dietrich Bonhoeffer. It was. Look. What have we said? Hey, they came for the Jews, but I didn't speak because I was not a Jew. They came for the Gypsies. I didn't speak up because and then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me.
Martin Niemöller.
Martin Niemöller, and that's exactly what happened to us in 1994 with the crime bill. We had people on our side, supposedly our side. We had reasonable gun owners. We had people that were sportsmen and hunters who thought, well, that bill doesn't affect me personally because I don't own any of those kind of guns, so I'm not going to oppose it, or I don't think it's that big of a deal, or I don't understand why you people are all up in arms. What they're doing here is they're putting these subclauses in there because, first of all, people are going to get excited and they're like, whoa, you can't make all 20. No. They're like, no, we're going to make an exception for your thing. We're going to make an exception for the guns that you own. It's just those other people's guns.
Yeah, the last paragraph says the Attorney General may treat a projectile as not primarily intended to be used for sporting purposes if substantial evidence exists that the projectile is not primarily intended for the use of sporting purposes. Blah blah blah. So this is
what they're trying to do is create even more authority. They're trying to give themselves even more authority
to basically decide what means or what intended use of sporting purposes means.
What is the definition of is?
What is that?
What does is mean? The definition of is. This is horse crap, and you should understand it. And I'm sure you guys do. And you might be saying to yourselves, well, I know you're angry about this, Paul, and I know it's bologna sausage, but I contacted my state lawmaker. I contacted my representative, and he assures me that this bill has no chance of passing. Okay.
Then why do they introduce it?
Exactly.
So if you guys don't believe us, and you should believe us, I'm going to put the bill text that I just read you, I'm going to put it in the show notes. Go to studentgunradio.com, click on SOTG 142, and the bill text will be in there so you can read it for yourself and share it with your friends, because this is ridiculous.
What have I said ad nauseum? What have I said before and before and before? The reason that they introduce these bills is to put forth the argument. They put forth the argument. They introduce it knowing that it's going to be defeated, knowing that it's not going to advance yet. That's why they have puke faces like this scumbag communist from New York. That's why they have communists from New York go out and propose these bills, because they know that this communist lives in a slave state, that they've already bought all the votes. They know this guy is not in trouble. They know that they can. He's in a safe district, so he can propose this nonsense and he can throw it out there, and they can say, "Okay, well, let's be reasonable. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about. All right, we won't take everything. Let's go ahead and let's bargain here." No. It's like saying, so a burglar breaking into your house and saying, "I'm going to steal everything from your home," and you say, "No. All right, well, let's be reasonable. I'll just take half of your property today." What? No. You can't take half of my property today. Come on now. Let's work with me here. Work with me. How much can I take today? The answer is none. The answer is zero. And this sporting purposes nonsense, horse garbage for ammo, they've already been down this road. We accepted this nonsense, and it's bull. And until your elected representatives, until you get them fired up and say, look, no more sport, that needs to go. They need to rescind that. That bill needs to go away. That law needs to be rescinded. It's unconstitutional. Well, yeah, but the court upheld it, or the court refused to hear it, or whatever. I don't care. I read the Constitution. I'm an intelligent, educated man. I can read. I don't need 9 bought people. And let's face it, the court has been bought. When Roberts betrayed us, and don't think, and SWAT fuel's kicking in right now, Jared, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, I can tell. I think they can too.
When Roberts betrayed us on the ACA, on the Obamacare, if that didn't wake you up, if that wasn't cold water splashed into your face, that we no longer have a separation of powers, we have a ruling class that is working together against the peasant class, and the Supreme Court has decided that they're just going to go ahead and be part of that ruling class. When he failed the nation, I have no more faith in the Supreme Court. Don't come to me and say, oh, well, the court heard it or refused to hear it or what. No. Sorry. I can read. I'm an intelligent adult human. And don't give me some kind of bull crap about, well, we're going to grant this autonomous bureaucracy the authority to determine whether or not this firearm or that has. It's insanity. Are we going to allow them to? Oh, dude, I'm so.
I have a question.
Woo!
Do you think this might be a distraction? Because they saw how many people opposed it when the ATF released the letter or whatever they did. So do you think that this dude did this and it's distraction? They're distracting us from something else?
No, what I think this is I think that they're doing what they always do. They throw up a bill that they know is going to ultimately fail, but they do it so they can establish the argument and come back and they're like, all right, well, we won't take it all today. We won't take 100% of your money today. We'll just come back and we'll take 50% of your money. How's that sound? Let's just be reasonable. And then, and the thing is the person who's being attacked, the person who's being robbed, they're expected to be grateful that they only lost half of their money. Like, well, we're gonna come and we're gonna steal all of your money today. Well, I don't want you to steal all my money. Well, how about I just steal half your money? And like, all right, well, I'll just steal 25% of your money today. And then it's over and you're like, whew, they only stole 25% of my money. Yeah, but you lost still. And that is the exact game that they're playing here. They're playing this, how can we get this through with the minimum amount of damage to us? How can we keep the peasants fat and happy and working in the fields and still get our way.
Well, we posted this video to Facebook. If you guys didn't know this, facebook.com/shootingthegun. This video is on Facebook. It has to do with gun control. It's along the same argument, along the same conversation. And we had people contact us and say, hey, this was a great video, and can you play it on the radio? I think everybody needs to hear it. So I think that you want to do that?
Yeah, well, before you need to do a setup. This is from Student of the Gun Homeroom. If you guys are aware of that, we have the Student of the Gun YouTube channel. It's studentoftheguntv.youtube.
The homerooms are on youtube.com/SOTG homeroom.
Right.
Or you can go to studentofthegun.com and click on the homeroom tab.
Well, either way. Well, the reason that we're playing this on the radio is because what we've decided to do, and you didn't know this, but behind the scenes, we're going to do homeroom segments as audio. We're going to do radio for us. And then our friend Braden Gunn over at Big and Wild Outdoors, they're also going to play them weekly as well. We're going to start doing weekly homeroom segments. They're going to be like 3 to 5 minute educational, informational segments based around the short topic Student of the Gun homeroom, and we're going to insert those into the radio show. So that's going to be coming up as a regular feature both on our show and on Big and Wild Outdoors show here very soon. So Jared's going to go ahead and play this, and I'm going to close my mouth, and you can listen. Welcome back to Student of the Gun Homeroom. I am your favorite Professor Paul Markle, and thanks for joining us today. Now, today's topic is gun control for the children. That's right, because according to the mainstream news media, if you are not willing to accept more restrictions on your liberty, you don't like children, and shame on you. But let's talk about actual facts. Let's talk about the top 5 accidental deaths in children as compiled by the CDC or Center for Disease Control.gov. Now, the top 5 causes of accidental deaths in children, not murders, not deliberate deaths, but accidental deaths, all right, are burns, drowning, falls, poisoning, and car crashes. You say, well, where are gunfire accidents on that? Well, they're pretty far down the list, but they're pretty far down the list. They pale in comparison to burns and drowning and falls and so forth. And you say, well, if we need to save the children, shouldn't we be focusing on those? Oh, hold on a second. Again, according to the CDC, and this comes from a CBS News story online, CBS News Online, right now accidental deaths in children are down 30% from where they were in the year 2000. Now, you probably don't know this because it's good news, and good news doesn't sell newspapers or website subscriptions. Good news doesn't get you upset. Good news doesn't make you want to surrender more of your liberty to the government. We don't need good news. But according to the source, it said that their accidental deaths in children, that is burns and drownings and everything across the board, is down 30%. But according to the title of it, says kids accidental death rates down 30%, but we can do more. So don't take heart. We're still in a panic mode. And you would say, now we've been told by Comrade Barry and others that if we can pass a law and it'll save just one child's life, it's worth it. It's worth doing. It's worth stripping you of your liberties if we can save one child. And when you talk to your anti-gun friends or your liberal friends or those who don't really pay attention to the real world, when you talk to them at work or wherever you go, you'll hear them say things like that. Well, we need to do something to save the children. And you could say to them, okay, you're absolutely correct. You are correct. What if we could pass a law that would save the lives of 300,000 children a year? Do you think we should do it? I mean, because, Barry said if we can save one child's life, it's worth it. What if we could pass a law that saved the lives of 300,000 children? Should we do it? Now, they might be thinking, where's this guy going with this? But you might have them so excited. They were like, oh, I love new laws, and I love greater restrictions on my liberty. Yes, pass that law. And you say, okay, bam. I think tomorrow we need to propose and pass a law that bans abortion in the United States of America. And they're like, whoa, no, you're changing the subject. We're not talking about abortion. That's a woman's right to choose. That's reproductive rights. And you're like, whoa,
But 5 minutes ago, you said that anything we can do to protect a child's life, we need to do it, even if it only saves one child. We're talking about, and according to Planned Parenthood's own internal statistics, their own report, they conducted 333,000 and some change abortions in the year 2012. And you're like, well, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. All right, time out, Sparky. What you said to me is we need to protect the children at all costs, and any law that will protect a child's life is worth it. So, well, is it in when it's in its mother's womb, is it a child or is it not? Oh, it's an unviable flesh mass. Ah, I got you. Now, riddle me this, Batman. If a pregnant woman is shot by a burglar or a rapist or a robber, and the infant inside her body dies, why do they charge him with murder? That's right. If you shoot a pregnant woman and she dies and the infant inside of her dies, they charge you with 2 homicides, not 1. They don't charge you with conducting an unlicensed abortion. Think about it. If your anti-gun friends are genuinely concerned with protecting the lives of children, how can they want to disarm you with their right hand, and they think abortion is cool and it's a woman's right with their left hand? You can't have it both ways, folks. If you want to protect the children, you need to be able to accept that children inside the mom are children too. So if a child is born and it's 1 day old and it gets shot, we need to disarm the entire American populace. But if it's only 3 or 4 months old and we, take it out with a vacuum cleaner and throw it in the garbage, that's cool because it's a woman's right. I just want to know where we're operating here. And for the people that say, well, you can't allow guns in homes because they're just too dangerous for the children. We shouldn't allow people who have children at home to have guns. You say, well, all right, let's go down that road for a second. But what are the leading causes of accidental deaths in children? Well, burns, drowning, falls, poisoning, car crashes. All right. Well, in your home, do you have a heater, a stove? Is there water, a bathtub? Do you have a swimming pool? Are there any chemicals that if they were ingested by you or a child would make them die, such as cleaners, household bleach, so forth? How about gravity? Is there gravity in your home? How about a car? Do your kids get in and out of cars every day? If we were really so worried, and people say, oh, no, you have to have those things. We have to have those things because we need them. Like, well, then how do children grow up in a household that has fire and water and gravity? How do they survive? Well, we teach them not to touch the stove, and we teach them not to play by the pool, and we teach them not to drink the stuff under the sink. So you can teach your kids not to do that, and they won't. You can teach your kid not to play with matches or put his hand on the stove, and he won't do it, but you can't teach your kid not to play with a gun like a toy because they're just too dangerous. It's baloney and it's disingenuous. And arm yourself with the facts. The CDC.gov, all the statistics we talked about, they're online. Just Google it. Now, what is our product of the day, our recommended reading? Our product today is called the Total Gun Manual. It's from Field & Stream. It's a Field & Stream publication. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool book. It's full of color illustrations. Just tons and tons of color illustrations.
All right, well, there you go. And you can't really see the book because this is radio. Now, if you guys are old Student of the Gun homeroom, SOTG homeroom fans, you know that we would do a recommended reading at the end of each of those. And I had to stop because I was running out of books. I don't recommend books that I haven't read or at least started reading or gotten into. So we hope you guys appreciated that Student of the Gun homeroom. And, that right there, Jared, you know what that is? That is the simple how to talk to anti-gun ninnies 101. That's pretty much it.
101.
Yeah, 101.
Yep.
All right, folks, this next portion is going to be brought to you by SWAT Fuel at swatfuel.com and XS Sites, the fastest sites in any light. All right, we got a theme song for you, and we haven't played this one in a while, so Jared's going to go ahead and play it, and we're going to talk.
That's why I say amen, I should.
A good shot, man. That is Filter, And, of course, that is our Go Team Moment theme song. We got 2 Go Team moments for you guys right here. The first one comes to us from Breitbart.com, and the title of the story is Man Intervenes for Wheelchair-Bound Neighbor Shoots Suspect. And what's that all about? Well, I'm going to tell you what that's all about. This is on March 3rd, a Little Rock, Arkansas man witnessed 2 suspects allegedly, I know, I love that, allegedly. Do we still have to do that in 2015? Do we still have to give? Do you notice? I'm going to go off on a tangent because I can.
We don't have time.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
No, shut up. I already be finished if you wouldn't have interrupted me.
Okay.
There you go. Why do we still have to put allegedly? It's like criminals and scumbags always get the benefit of the doubt, but the good people don't. I like that. Allegedly, breaking into a home of his neighbor, who is an elderly and wheelchair-bound. He armed himself and intervened, shooting one of the suspects. According to Arkansas Matters, when armed citizen Charles Dorsey saw 2 suspects breaking into his neighbor's home, he asked his sister to call 911. He then ran over and held the suspects at gunpoint until police arrived. While he was waiting for the officers, one of the suspects made him feel threatened, so he shot him in the arm. Okay. Go team moment here. Throughout the incident, Dorsey was concerned about his wheelchair-bound neighbor, was endangered in his home. Okay, he said, she's like a sister to us. We've known her for 36 years. I was in fear for her more than anything. When the officers arrived, Dorsey learned that his neighbor was not home after all, but the 2 scumbags had broken into the house. One neighbor rallied to Dorsey's armed intervention, putting out the word that any would-be criminals, don't mess with us because we'll get you. All right, go team, rock on. The only thing that I would say here is the whole I'm going to wing them in the arm thing. It's like, yeah, if you need to shoot them, shoot them. If you don't need to shoot them, don't shoot them. The whole, well, I'm going to give you one to grow on, probably not a great idea.
That's
just
one
saying.
thing that Dix and I were talking about the other night was that if these criminals were scared of the communities instead of the police, then less criminals would exist, because if they're scared, like if I go break into this house, the neighbors are going to pull me out and lynch me or something, then...
Oh, really? You said lynch.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
they're going to torture.
No, you're
them.
right. No, you're right. They should be afraid of the citizenry. They should be in fear of the citizenry. And if you ask criminals, they've actually done studies where they found that career criminals will have admitted in numerous cases that they're actually more afraid of encountering an armed homeowner or an armed citizen than they are of a police officer, because the career scumbags know that the cops have to attempt to arrest them, whereas the homeowner doesn't. They can just shoot them. They don't have to give them a chance to surrender. All right, second Go Team moment comes to us from Fox59.com. You know, I bet you if you did a Google search, there'd be a Fox every number in the universe.
Including 69.
I bet there would be a Fox 69. Yeah. But this is Fox 59 TV. Speedway woman. What now?
Speedway, Indiana.
Speedway woman shoots, kills ex-boyfriend after he beats in her front door. Well, that's not nice. And this story is actually dated March 4th, the day after the previous one went down. Speedway, Indiana. Police say a woman... called 911 when her ex-boyfriend showed up, began beating on the door. Ooh, that's not cool. Says then he barged into the apartment on Wednesday morning. Speedway Police Department Lieutenant Trent Thiebold says the woman called 911 around 4:18 a.m. saying her ex-boyfriend was beating in her front door. She had a gun and she was in fear for her life, and she had 2 small children inside of the apartment. And he broke in and she shot him. And now he is room temperature and she is not. And we say, go team. And somebody made the comment about when this all went down, they talked about civil protection orders or, protection orders or whatever. It's like, dudes and dudettes, if you know learn nothing else, protection order is a piece of paper. It does not keep you safe. It does not keep abusive spouses from coming and killing you.
It says, here it says, police say the couple had a history of domestic violence and they've responded to calls at the apartment multiple times. So they've been there before. They knew this was going to happen.
Yep, it was coming. So go team. Good guys, in this case, the good guys are unharmed, and the bad guy is currently room temperature and will not be abusing anyone else. So go team. Oh, dude, what the heck was I going to mention? Oh, the sweet Buddha patch. We didn't tell them about that.
Update.
We got the first proof. Go ahead and
on
update
Sweet
them.
Buddha. Yeah, we got the first proof. We're going to make one change, and then it should be approved and out for cut. So it should be here within the next couple weeks.
All right. And with that, it's time to put the cork in it.
It's going to put... Oh, you putting the cork in you too? Yeah, he's over there. Poor Dad. He came to the radio this week to talk to you guys, and he was sick. So thank you for giving him a break. He's drinking his water right now. And do you want me to go ahead and outro? I'll do the outro here. He's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. All right, remember, guys, you're a beginner once, but you're a student for life.